Hello and welcome to another episode of Personality Quotient Conversation. My guest for today is a young business professional who's also a trainer and a consultant. Let's welcome Mansoor Soomro. Hi Mansoor.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So Mansoor, our topic of discussion for today is entrepreneurship. What really is the concept? Because a lot of people are not really clear as to what entrepreneurship is. So what according to you?
Okay. The word entrepreneur and the word entrepreneurship,
right.
it's one of the three words that have not been defined as yet.
Yeah.
And we'll say what are the other two words. So it's the leader
right.
and a terrorist. Now my ideas may sound bizarre to you, but a leader is a word, an individual that has not been defined as yet. Even if you're talking about a social leader, political leader, or a business leader, a leader is someone that has not been defined as yet. There's no universally accepted single definition of who a leader is.
But I guess that's one very common word that has been used
exactly,
everywhere.
that's generic, right? But we don't have a concrete definition as to what it is. Likewise, we don't have a definition for who a terrorist is. Like, if terrorist is someone who terrorizes, then the one who kills a terrorist is also a terrorist. So who is a terrorist, right? And likewise, the word entrepreneur, and entrepreneur is not defined as yet. Like the concept of entrepreneurship, when it came in like 7 or 8 years back, the first definition that came in was that an entrepreneur is someone who comes up with something new. Right. So immediately the people said that inventor. So is that what you mean? Said yes. So why use a different word for that? That is an inventor. So they said, okay, let's move on. So they said an entrepreneur is someone who takes risk. So people said, okay, but we all take risk in personal and professional life. So are we all entrepreneurs? Then the business academia said, not really, right? So then they moved on that, okay, an entrepreneur is someone who manages business, who enters into a business, and that is how the word entrepreneur came in, that you enter into something. Now this could be a project, this could be an initiative, this could be a business, it could be a venture. Right? So this is how the word entrepreneur came in.
But because I think normally people do associate it with introducing a new venture.
Exactly. Now, this is what leads me to what a misconception with this word is. People think that if you're starting a new business, you are an entrepreneur, which may not always be the case. For instance, if you're working in a big organization and you're working in a small function within a big organization, and you're responsible for the P&L responsibilities of that function. P&L is profit and loss responsibilities. So you are responsible for that function within a big organization. Again, you are an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur is someone who takes risk, right? Who comes up with something new, manages business. So that is what an entrepreneur is. So an entrepreneur is not necessarily someone who starts his business, which is the concept of proprietorship or self-ownership. It's not really the case. Even if you're working for a company, you're an entrepreneur. So that's why we say that an entrepreneur could be an employer, and he or she could be an employee as well.
Okay. So here, now that we're clear with the definition of an entrepreneur, how do you really go about it? How do you build that enterprise?
Okay, now that talks about vision, that how do you build an enterprise, right? I remember what Oscar Wilde said, that we're all sitting in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Right? So this is how you see things, right? So if you build up an enterprise, people there are different angles to looking at it. How do you come up with an enterprise? And that's how that's what differentiates one entrepreneur from another. But pragmatically speaking, if you say how do you build up an enterprise, there are 4 parts to it. The first part is research, market research. For instance, if you're coming up with a product or service, you have to have an idea. And you have to have a need that is not yet catered in the market. So that is the market research, the first phase that goes in with the concept of building an enterprise.
Doing your homework, basically.
Exactly, doing your homework. But the next thing that comes in, which is also homework, is the business plan. You need to have a business plan which has the financial plan, how the financial management of the company would work in. It should have a marketing plan, how the marketing activities of a product or service would come in. And likewise, it should have a human resource plan, how people handling would be done in your organization, how training and development function would work, and how people will develop in your organization, because that is the essence of what a business is.
So basically you set a goal and then you create a plan of actions, how to go about it and how to reach there.
Exactly. But that's step 2. The first thing is you did market research. When you're done with market research, you move on to business plan, and next is money. You need to have money to start a venture, right? And there's a term that is coined in, which is bootstrapping, which is to raise money. Now, as a finance individual, there are two ways of getting money. One is this debt financing, and the other is equity financing. To make it simple, equity financing is that you invest your money in the business, right? And debt financing is that you go to public through initial public offerings or debentures or some other form of bonds, and you get money from public. So there are two forms of financing, and this is the third stage of how you build an enterprise. This leads to a fourth stage, that when you're done with these three steps, there's a fourth stage, which is the legal issues. That once you're done with the organization, the marketing, the business plan, the market research, and the financing, when you're done with this, then you come up with the legal name and you register your name. Then this intellectual property thing comes in, and other legal issues come in. And when you're done with these four things, then you can. This is how you come up with the building.
This whole process basically applies on a bigger venture project, right? But how about like people? For instance, I know a lot of university-going kids who do want to start up a business.
Okay.
But unke mind, I think they have this in mind that it has to be big, it has to be huge to be called a business.
Right.
How would you?
What surprisingly is what the term we use, small and medium enterprises, right? And they are very in. In fact, in these times of recession, it's because of SMEs that the economies are developing. And this goes in East as well as in West, right? And they are the real key players in economic development. They're not like, since they are like working people working in small places, doing a small business. But again, when you put it up, the whole picture as an economy, as a country, as a nation, it comes up to be a huge economic market. So becoming an entrepreneur doesn't mean a big project involved. It can be any small project that includes all these four steps. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, can everyone be an entrepreneur, or there's some secrets to it?
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I mean, like we say that there are certain attributes that a good entrepreneur should have.
Right.
Right. Like that is what sets apart an entrepreneur, an ordinary entrepreneur, from a well-performing entrepreneur. And I believe, like, to make it simple, there are two basic things. One is that you need to have a remarkable idea. If you don't have a remarkable, revolutionary idea, then that business is not good enough. Be it small or be it big. But you need to have a revolutionary idea.
That makes you stand out from the others?
Stand out from the crowd. Yeah, and like a few examples that if you talk about, even if you talk about the global names, IBM, when they introduced, they said that they are going to come up with solutions. Instead, when other companies of their industry were working on the products, they were selling IT products, but this was the one company that was saying that we're going to sell you solution. Again, they were products behind those solutions, but they were selling solutions. So the idea was well taken in that market. Likewise, when you talk about Mitsubishi, they have the huge diverse plants. Like they manufacture pens, right, stationary thing, and they manufacture engines of an automobiles. In fact, now they have the whole assembly line of automobiles. So you see the disconnect, but there was this remarkable idea, and because of that, they went in. And like they really perform. So this is one of the attributes that you need to have a remarkable idea. But to be a successful entrepreneur, there's another thing which has to go hand in hand, and that is that you need to be risk taker, right? And this is often associated with an entrepreneur, that you have to have this ability and this willingness to take on risks. If you're risk averse, you're not an entrepreneur, right? And it's often said that the maximum risk is when you don't take any risk at all, right? So you have to take risks. Talking about companies like McDonald's, as an American company, they had this culture. Like the time they came in, I'm talking about the very start, this was an American company and was trying to spread over the world, right? And when they entered into Germany, they told Germans, Americans told Germans, that this is how a hamburger is made. Now imagine, this is a culture coming in from one place and coming to a different place. Now that was a kind of risk that they took in that point in time. Likewise, if I talk about the American company called Boeing, they manufactured defense aircrafts, right? And that was their core expertise. But since, because of the pressure of that they always thought that they had this reliance on government sales only, and those were like government pressures were building on. So they said, okay, we're going to move on to the commercial market on aircrafts. And today you see Boeing where it is because of the commercial market, not because of the defense market. So this is the second thing of second attribute or second secret of an entrepreneur, that he has to be risk taker. Now these are known secrets, but they are kind of.
There has to be some specific mindset that an entrepreneur needs.
Yeah, and that was what's summing the whole concept up.
Right.
You need to have a mindset to actually work this equation work, the whole puzzle work, and
yeah,
that
you will have everything in front of you, but how you put it all together, it's on your own.
That is what will make the difference. So when we talk about mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, there are two things. One is the strategic side, and the other one is this operational side. A good entrepreneur has to blend the strategic side, which is the planning phase. You have to plan things well, and then the operational side, that you have to implement things well.
Right.
So the first stage, you came up with a good idea, but then you have to implement it. Now people think that implementing it is relatively easy, and making it, designing it, is something that was really the main crux of it, but which is again misleading.
It's the opposite. It's
Yeah,
the other way around.
because in business research today, we come to know, because of research by far, that 9 out of 10 strategies fail when it comes to implementation. So like when it was like the managing board or the company was, the chief executives were sitting, they came up with 10 ideas and they shortlisted 10 ideas, like the best 10 ideas, but when they went into practice, only one of them survived. So you see the gap, 9:1. Right? So research says that implementation is, in fact, which is the operational side of a business, is even more important than the strategic side, right? Which is the designing phase. If I am talking about the concept in in a holistic manner, if we talk about mindset, this has to do with the kind of vision as well. Like for instance, I work for a company called Siemens, and Siemens was a backyard garage workshop. This was late, like in 165 years back. It was just a workshop. And then in 165 years, it grew up to be a €100 billion enterprise today, working in more than, spreading across more than over 190 countries. So that is the concept of entrepreneurship that started off from a very small level, and it went on and grew up, and eventually took on the world. So that is what the entrepreneurial mindset is. And one more thing, just before to sum it up, that when we talk about this vision and this mindset, this has to come in with decision making as well. Like a good entrepreneur has to be good at decision making, right? And because
a lot of people do have the idea, but they can implement, but they're very weak when it comes to taking the right decision.
Exactly. So decision making is one of the crucial areas as well. And as I said that I don't believe in making the right decisions. I take the decisions and I make them right.
Make them right.
Right? So you need to have that kind of entrepreneurial mindset in order to get things moving. So
right, thanks Mansoor.
You're welcome.
It was great talking to you with this topic.
You're welcome.
This brings us to the end of this discussion. For more Personality Quotient conversation, you can visit our website tv.personalityquotient.com.